Let me get my trusty notes out here because I took a bunch on each of these states. We have some updates for you. This is our last one, as you guys know. So let's do this. I'm going to run through the states like I do real quick because I want to get to the battleground states and do it. So let's do it as we always do. We're going to start with the Kamala states. I'm going to start with our new states. Hawaii has 4. They go for her. Let's put them in for her. Washington 12. Oregon 8, California's 54 go to her. Now, this is going to surprise you, but I need to say, New Mexico has 5 electoral votes. Trump is going there tomorrow. These are 4 of the tier 2 states. Of them, I think New Mexico has yet to prove to me that it is gettable. Trump's going there. They see something. I'm fine. I'm going to keep this blue, though. And I know some people, look, I'd rather be wrong. Okay, because I think we get to 270 without, you're going to see in a second. The Real Clear Politics average has this at 7.7 for her. That's well outside the margin of error. Okay, I wanted it to be true. I know he's going there. It's part of what James Blair was saying yesterday. Is it's sort of like if they're in Arizona or Nevada, it's already there. Might as well just stop and make a play for it. I'm not there yet. So sorry if you disagree with me on this, but you'll see that I think we're good. So I don't need to go crazy. All right, let's move east as we have before. Minnesota has 10 electoral votes. We're going to put those into. But look, same thing like New Mexico. I will say this. I would rather, let's keep that light blue. Okay, it's not solid blue. New Mexico was 7.7, outside the margin of error. Real Clear Politics has this at 4.3. Now, here's the difference with Minnesota, and I wish Trump had gone up there instead of New Mexico, but I get logistically it's easier if you're already in that area to just hit New Mexico. Like if you're in Nevada, Arizona area, you hit New Mexico. But the Real Clear Politics average in Minnesota is 4.3, right? But you're not seeing a visit there. There's not a lot of staff there. There's no ads. So for that reason, I'm going to keep that light blue. But we'll keep an eye on it. We got 6 days to go. I'm not saying it can't happen, just so people in Minnesota, all you Gophers, don't get upset with me. I know he's unpopular. I know that I'd love to send a message to him. You heard James Blair yesterday. His dad's there. He'd love to send a message. I would too. But I'm just saying I'm not there yet because he's not visiting. There's not a big blitz ad-wise or staff-wise, so whatever. All right, let's go to the Northeast. Vermont has 3. Those are in Harris. New York has 28. Massachusetts, 11. Rhode Island's 4. Connecticut's 7. Now, you'll notice I skipped New Hampshire. See, there's one of the changes. We'll get to that in a second. But let's move down to the mid-Atlantic. New Jersey has 14. Those are still solidly there. Although I will say this. I could see New Jersey coming between 5 and 6 points on election night. I think there's enough people that are upset, working men and women. Anyway, I don't think we're going to win it. I think it could be a lot closer than people see. Do we get Delaware's 3? I believe we did. Maryland's got 10. Those are going in his case. You heard Andy Harris. He's from Maryland. He would have gotten excited if we thought we could, but he didn't because it's not going to happen. DC has 3 electoral votes. I will save you my DC speech. If you haven't heard it, go back and watch a previous Road to 270. The Democrats basically want to make DC a state only because they want the 2 Democratic senators from there. This is not about voting rights. I will get off my soapbox quick because today is got to go through that. But trust me when I say this, it's not about voting rights. There's an easy way to do this. It's not about that. They want 2 Democratic senators from DC. All right. That's where we are now. Now, here's what I will tell you. The Harris campaign is coming to Virginia. The Trump campaign is rumored to be coming to Virginia. Something's going on here. We have a poll that shows Virginia at 2 points, okay? The last one, the Rasmussen Reports poll, 1,014 likely voters, margin of error 3, Harris 48, Trump 46. Here's the thing. Trump got 44 in 2020. He didn't do that much better in 2016. My point is he's getting about where he is, and Harris is the one that's teetering. Some polls are at 52. and they were at 54 last time. Some of them are at 48, but Trump's number is fairly consistent. It's her that's the issue. I say that because I'm going to put it at light blue. There's something going on here. I see so many people that I talk to in Virginia who keep telling me I'm not voting for her. I think the Youngkin, Mayeris, Winsome Sears trifecta win in our midterm was good news. But remember, it's a different universe that's voting. I would like to say it's a toss-up. I really want. I live here, guys. I was the last elector in 2004. You've heard me say this a million times. But we're not. I'd rather be wrong. If you wake up Wednesday and you go, Sean, Virginia went, I will be the first person to say I am so excited to be wrong. I'm going to make it light blue, though. Okay, I'm just saying that we're not there yet. And then this has been brought up. I said this last time. I want to go to Nebraska real quick. Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. It's Omaha. They call it the blue dot. It's solid blue. We're going to put Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. Now, I'm going to give you my Nebraska spiel now. But the bottom line is this. I have talked to Nebraska sources, people who are on the ground, who this has been their life, right? And I've gotten a bunch of emails, and people have asked me, what's the deal with Nebraska? So I spent a lot of time this week because people worried about a 269 tie, 269 or a 270, 268 scenario. Here's the deal. The bottom line is it's not going to happen. You heard James Blair yesterday talk about shifting dynamics. He's right. Deb Fischer is in a tough race right now. Dan Osborne is an independent. He's running ads tying himself to Trump. You'd think that's a good thing, right? It's this Omaha area, though. It's the bastion of, it's a liberal enclave. Don Bacon, very popular. He's running 8 points ahead of Trump in the 2nd congressional district. He's still probably down a point or two, according to the people that I talk about. This is so tough right there that a guy like Don Bacon, who is well known to the people there, well liked by the people there, running a good campaign there, is still down, and he's running 8 points. So for the people who have asked me about Nebraska 2nd, I have spent a lot of time talking to a bunch of people who know that area very well. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I wish it was, because I get scared about the tie too. But now we got to win it bigger and in different places. So she gets that spot. That's where we go. Let's move on to Trump. We're going to do it the same way as we always do. Let's start with Alaska, because we started with Hawaii last time. So we're going to put the 3 seats in there. I talked to you before, by the way, God forbid it ever was a tie, which I don't think it can be now. We're going to flip that seat. Nick Bisich, who is running at large against Mary Peltola, who was on the show a few weeks back. Nick Bisich, I think, will win that seat. Flip Alaska. So if we ever ended up in a tie, we know Alaska would vote the way it is. So let's go northwest down. Montana's 4 electoral votes. They are still solid. Idaho's 4, solid. Wyoming's 3, solid red. Utah's 6, solid red. Now back up north and moving south. North and South Dakota both put their individual 3 electoral votes in the Trump column. Nebraska, we talked about. It has 5 electoral votes. We just said the 2nd congressional district will go for Kamala Harris. The 2 other congressional districts, the 2 at-large electoral votes for a total of 4, will go to Trump. That's 4 of Nebraska's 5 electoral votes will go his way. By the way, I screwed up. Let me go back 1 second. I missed Maine for her. I will do everything but the 2nd congressional district. We might as well just do Maine right now. Here's the deal with Maine. 2nd district is kind of the inverse of Nebraska. She will win the state. Trump will win the 2nd district. So the 2nd district will get shaded red, give him 1 electoral vote there. The rest of the state is blue for her. Okay. By the way, so she's at 193 right now. I think fairly solidly, except for we talked about Minnesota and Virginia, both potential. But I think, that's a decent number for her. All right, let's get back on the Trump map. 6 solid electoral votes from Kansas go in the Trump direction. 7 in the Oklahoma column go to Trump as well. And then we're going to go back up north and south. Iowa has 6 electoral votes for Trump. Missouri has 10 for Trump. Arkansas's 6 go for Trump. And Louisiana's 8 go for Trump. All right. did I miss Texas? I did. Let's do Texas is 40 right there. And by the way, I also, God, what's going on? The last one, you think I'd have this down. Colorado's 10 go for Harris. My apologies. Solid blue there. Thank you. All right, so let's go back up and come down. Did we hit Iowa? So we do Iowa. We did that. So let's go back up and north. Let's start with Indiana. It's got 11. They go for Trump. Kentucky's got 8. They go for Trump. Tennessee's 11 go for Trump. Mississippi's 6 go for Trump. And Alabama's 9 go for Trump. Let's go back up and down. Ohio 17 are in the Trump column. J.D. Vance, great job there carrying Ohio. West Virginia's 4 go for Trump. That's also going to be the state that gives us at least 50-50, and I think with Montana, 51 in the Senate, and then we go from there. South Carolina's 9, and 30s, Florida's 30, all in the Trump column. We did Maine. So right now, that puts Trump 219, the Democrats at 203. So I think that's fairly agreeable, right? I don't think there's many people. I'm sorry. I always forget that big one right in the middle for Illinois. Those 19 electoral votes go for her. So that puts the Democrats solidly at 222, her at 219. Let me just start with what I think is the real tier 2 state, right? Like I said, Virginia, I said Minnesota. New Hampshire, to me, I moved this light blue before, but now we have a poll showing Trump up. The difference between all these other states is it's not only is the trend moving in the Trump direction, but now it's over. He has a poll showing him winning there. I'm going to keep that a toss-up state. It's 4 electoral votes. We're going to make that an actual toss-up state because I think it's moving in this direction. It's one poll, so I don't want to get too cocky on this. But this is a trend, and Harris's team keeps sending people there. All right, so that's where that is. Let's move into the real battleground states. Arizona, 11 electoral votes. We've talked about the shift in registration there with Seth Kessel. He's going to be joining us next Monday, by the way, to give us the latest update on early vote and everything else that happened with registration in some of these battleground states. This is definitely good news for Trump. Let's go to the early data there. You'll see if we just do the returns and we click on Arizona, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Very, very good job in these early vote Arizona. It's amazing what has happened there. And then you look at the polling. The last time that we were there, Trump was up 1.8, right? We come back a week later to do the latest road to 270, and we're at a 2.2 lead. He is now 49.6 to 47.4. And again, that just shows you the momentum continues to move in the Trump direction. The early vote out of Arizona, and if we click on the link there for the early vote and go to Arizona, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it is really, really cool to see how they are keeping up. The Republican side is keeping up with that. So you look at this early vote data showing Republicans just nailing it there, and it is unbelievable. So I feel very good. I was out there, as I said, last week, and you're seeing it on the ground. The phone banks, the calls, the door knocking, it's all coming together for Trump. You know, that's why he was there doing rally. I think he's going to be back in the Tucson area if my reporting is accurate. They get it. They're moving well. And then, by the way, in this Senate race, Kari Lake had a poll that showed her tied. Then it showed her up 1 today. This thing is moving in Kari Lake's direction. You heard, was it, I think it was Robert Cahaly who said it's moving in her direction, and he thought that could be the surprise race of the night. I think he might be right. Again, look at the wave that has had her back. Pretty unbelievable. So let's move on to Georgia. You've got now, last time we talked about this, a 2.5 lead for Trump. By the way, so Arizona, just so we're clear, I'm putting solidly in the Trump column. I asked James Blair about this. I've asked everybody as you guys watch the show. People feel good about Georgia. Good about Arizona. So we're putting that in the Trump column. That gets him at 230 right now. So let's move on to Georgia. This time, it's about the same. I mean, literally, he's bumped up a little, but so has she. So his lead is about the same, 2.4. Solid early vote numbers coming out of Georgia. And the public polling there, we've talked about this in the past. Look at this. I think the only reason that there might be any deviation is when they do these averages, some new ones take off the old ones. But look, the latest public polls, Atlas has him up 3, Trafalgar has him up 2. Then there was a tie. Then it was Trump up 2. American Greatest, TIPP has him up 1. Trump up 2, Trump up 6, Trump up 4, Trump up 3, Trump up 1. There is not a single public poll after October 5th that shows her, that they have on the Real Clear Politics average, that shows her in the lead. Might not be a big win there, but he is going to win Georgia. So let's keep that solidly in the red case and move on to North Carolina, the Tar Heel state. Now, if you click on this link, and I'll show you again where it shows the early vote returns coming out of North Carolina, solid news there. Trump this is one, I've said this from the beginning. I thought it was because of the storm. There might be some other issues there. This is very close. He's only up 0.4. He slid a little in the public polling. I think this is because of the poll that fell off and the poll that came on. Again, look at the public. So his Real Clear Politics average is Trump up 1. This is a slight bump from where he was last time. He was up 0.4 last time. But again, the Atlas poll shows her up by 1. But beyond that, it's Trump up 3, tie, Trump up 2, Trump up 2, Trump up 1, Trump up 1, tie, right? It's that one last one. Maybe it's an outlier, but again, it doesn't take much. But this is going to be tight. I think this is a light red. I feel good about North Carolina. But if you look at voting history, where it was in 2016 and in 2020, I mentioned this before, right? Jill Stein got 130,000 votes in 2016, and Trump won by 170,000 votes. That was definitely helpful, creating that spread between him and Hillary Clinton. When the Green Party didn't do well, when she wasn't on the ballot in 2020, the Green Party only got 12,000 votes. So 130,000 in 2016, 12,000 now. Trump barely won. He won by 74,000 votes, 1.3%. So this is one that still gives me a little bit of pause. So I will keep that light red. Let's move on to Nevada. I have become a convert in Nevada, my friends. The Republicans are crushing it in early voting. Crushing it in both Clark County and in Washoe County. Washoe, Reno, Clark County down there where Las Vegas is. Trump right now at 0.5 of a lead in the Real Clear Politics average, 48.3 to 47.8. I'm just telling you, this is one where I just think that when you look at the early vote numbers and you look at what is happening with registration in those key areas, Clark County is critical. If the Democrats don't have a wide enough lead, they're going to be in a problem. In the Senate race, we've talked about this before. Jackie Rosen still up outside the margin of error from Sam Brown, the Army captain. We had him on not too long ago. 4.7% lead there. I don't honestly. I just don't feel as good about the Senate race that I do on the other ones because of the trend. There's nothing that shows Sam Brown up. Look, he's a great guy, a great candidate, great message. She's been in office a while. She's got a ton of money and overwhelming him. But who knows? Maybe we'll see him come, pull this thing out. I hope so. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great candidate. I'd love to see him pull this thing out at the end. But Kari Lake right now trending in Arizona. That's you want that wind at your back. In Wisconsin, let's move over there. So Nevada, solid red for Trump, which, as you know, is a change for me. I wasn't as bullish on Nevada as some of these other states. That gets Trump too short. So here we are once again. Now, look, New Hampshire is the difference this time. This is going to be interesting because the 3 blue wall states, it's not just the 3 blue wall. He picks off New Hampshire. Are you hearing me, Trump campaign? If you take New Hampshire right now, it's decisive. You win 272. So that's why I'm saying this is a big change for me. Trump, go to New Hampshire. You could pull this off and win without this. But let's get back to Wisconsin. Trump right now slightly making progress there. 48.4 to 47.8, so a 0.6 lead. It's about where he was last time. The Republican data on the early vote, very, very, very encouraging. I'm just telling you, that's great. And by the way, I've been saying this about Eric Hovde. He was on the show a little while ago that it was moving in his direction. Once again, It's all that data moving in the Eric Hovde direction. In the last week, he has taken what was a Tammy Baldwin 2-point lead and got it down to a 0.4 lead. Eric Hovde, I think, will be a United States Senator next Congress. So we're putting Wisconsin in the red column for Trump. That would give him the presidency right now, but let's move on to Michigan real quick, because I think that this is going to be another one that's a Cinderella story. Right now, Harris has a 0.5 lead, but I'm telling you, the only reason she has a 0.5 lead is because I think one of the polls dropped off and a new poll came on. But right now, all these polls, Trump up 1, Trump up 1, Trump up 1, Harris up 5. That's the thing. One outlier poll from Susquehanna shows her up 5, and I think that's the difference, is that one poll helped her, but everything else looks good for Trump. Ashley Hayek from America First Works telling me about all the amazing work that they're doing there on the Get Out the Vote effort. I feel like this is definitely moving in his direction. I feel good about Michigan. I'll keep it light red for right now. And I will tell you that same thing's going on in that Senate race. I told you to keep an eye on Mike Rogers. He's moving this thing in the right direction. A lot of polls showing it a tie. So I feel good about that. Now, as we always do, let's end with the big prize. Pennsylvania is where this thing is all going to come down to. Right now, Trump with an edge, 0.6. Keep in mind, every state except for Michigan, which I think is an outlier because of that one thing, shows Trump at least winning. Every one of them. And again, in Michigan, it's because of that one outlier poll. So this is a much better place for Trump than Harris to be. Trump right now up 0.6 in Pennsylvania, 48.1 to 47.5. Guys, early votes in Pennsylvania show Republicans doing much, much better than they did in 2020. This is great. Allegheny County, same thing. Out there west, a big hold for the Democrats. They did very well. A lot of people like to talk about Philadelphia. Look at Allegheny County last time. Now, maybe it was Joe Biden, but they really came in big for the Democratic ticket out west in Allegheny County. That performance combined with how well Republicans are doing in early vote tells me that Republicans are moving in the right direction when it comes to the early vote. And I'm just telling you, I feel very, very bullish on Pennsylvania. Republicans were down on election night because of the early vote by about 1.3 million votes. They've got that gap so tight right now. I'm just telling you, Republicans are in a great place in Pennsylvania. They are showing up and they're not cannibalizing the election day voters the way that the Democrats would like you to believe. So this is moving in the right direction. The Senate race there, Bob Casey to Dave McCormick. Unbelievable closing ads from Dave McCormick. It is now down to a 1-point race. There are some polls showing it tied, some showing McCormick up. Again, wind at his back at the exact right time, 6 days out. I'm telling you guys, look at these polls for Trump in Pennsylvania. Trump up 3 from Atlas. Trump up 1, Insider Advantage. Tie, Emerson, Trump up. You have to go back to October 16th to find Harris up by 2. And then right after that, Trafalgar has him up 3. This is moving in the right direction for Donald Trump. Pennsylvania is going red. Here's the thing. The big question for me is how much more than 300 electoral votes does Donald Trump win? I believe, put the 19 in Trump's column, right? Look at where Trump ends up right now. He is at 312. If New Hampshire were to go his way, 316. I would say that Trump goes between 306 and 316. That's where we are now. It doesn't mean that's where we're going to end up. And that's why my point to you is keep your foot on the pedal, keep this going. But election night will be huge for Donald Trump if we can continue this trend. Do not let up. Get out there. Put those yard signs up. Knock on the doors. Make the phone calls. Run strong through the finish line. We need to put this over the top decisively so that we know on election night or election day morning that Donald Trump is going to win. I don't mind waiting until 2 a.m., but I want a solid win. So now it's up to us to do our part. As I mentioned, we are going to be up all night on election night. It's going to be huge. We are going all night long. This is your place to be. Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.